What is up, everyone? My name is Wrigley Willis, host of Semi-Average Podcast, and we are finally back. We're here at Arizona State, different setup now, and I'm joined by a good buddy of mine here at ASU, Daniel Pike. Give him a little intro. What are you doing here at ASU?
Well, I'm the host of Good Takes Only. It's every Wednesday at 5 p.m. on Blaze Radio, as well as the play-by-play voice for Blaze Radio, baseball, softball, and volleyball, and all that. But still, the number one thing is member of the Bills Mafia.
That's right.
As you can see, I got the Josh Allen right here.
Double 17, man.
Sort of falling off in the background. There's the Shady McCoy. And we got that boy 14, Sammy Watkins. With that boy, depending on what you think of him. But happy to be here. Thanks for having me. And let's get into it, man.
Of course, man. So I want to start out with, obviously with our loss in the AFC Championship to Kansas City, to Shady McCoy and Sammy Watkins behind you. Team didn't play in the Super Bowl, and Kansas City got routed in the Super Bowl. Now, I was talking to this with my pops, diehard member of the Mafia, just like you and I. And he said, we were talking about things that if Buffalo was in that game, if they take care of business against Kansas City, what does it look like against Tampa Bay? And I want to get your thoughts on that first, and then I'll go second.
All right. So I've been thinking about this for a couple weeks.
As you should.
It's going to be a lot longer than 3 weeks. What scares me is it's against Brady.
Yeah.
And McDermott, we can say success, and you can look at Brady's numbers against the Bills, and he's been bad. He's been nothing but bad. But you and I have never watched a Bills team ever truly beat Brady.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same result.
Really? As by much?
No. I think that it's not the same. I think that McDermott knows him. It would be a close fourth quarter game. But I can't say on this show, I can't truly say we would win that game. I like Brady and the weapons. And man, that defense is awesome. I talked about this in my Super Bowl recap episode. Devin White and Sue, and I'm the biggest Shaq Barrett fan in this entire world. I think he's a star.
Yeah. And the way the secondary was playing too was insane. I didn't expect that.
I mean, you got what's the guy's name? Carlton Davis? Where did he come from?
And Jamel Dean got activated right before the game too, and he was balling.
I don't think they win. I know that's a hot take, and I'm sorry to the Mafia, but we got to be real. I don't think so. I think that we were not the better team against Kansas City, and I don't think we would be the better team against Tampa.
I agree, and I think it really comes down to the pass rush. That's what we saw what Kansas City did to our O-line, which is just, it's Chris Jones taking up two guys, and you have Frank Clark and Okafor blitzing huge gaps. If we were to play Tampa Bay, we thought Mahomes was running for his life. Allen would have been all over the field. He would have been trying his hero ball. He would have been 30 yards past the line of scrimmage trying to do something.
I agree. Now, I'm not going to sit and say here that there's no chance the Bills win that game.
Yeah.
Because number 17 can do anything on any game. But the offensive and defensive line of the Buffalo Bills is not what the Mafia thinks it is. Especially, the offensive line is good. It's not as good as we thought it would be, but it's good.
It's borderline top 10, right?
Yeah, I think it's a fringe top 10 offensive line. But the defensive line is atrocious. Mm-hmm. It's atrocious. Like Ed Oliver, every third game he's great. The veterans though, that's where they missed. That is the factor why they didn't make the Super Bowl. We talk about this all the time. Addison Butler and QJ, Quinn Jefferson.
Got to be. And I remember when those signings were made, and Mario Addison was coming to the Bills as the big fish. We were like, oh my God, 8.5+ sacks from a DN, but not really.
And look, what do you expect? Do you think Epinesa is going to be a monster right away?
Well, that's a
second round pick? No.
Twitter, and everyone's like, oh, Epinesa is going to be the guy next year. He's going to, and he's going to take, block coverage away from Ed Oliver that'll open up the middle of the, I just don't see it. I think a splash needs to be made of sorts. So that takes me to my next topic, if you're ready. Now, getting into free agency now that the season's over with, there's a lot of big fish out there, a lot of guys we've rumored. I've talked to you about a million different people. Who's your number one guy that is almost a must sign, if you will?
Okay, so he's not the best player out there.
Mm-hmm.
And look, we'll talk about J.J. Watt, I assume, later on. But Pro Football Focus a couple weeks ago mentioned Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah.
That sounds way more appealing than J.J. Watt in my eyes.
Because you're getting him 4 years instead of 2.
It's the youth, man. J.J. Watt would be a locker room presence. He would be a monster for this team. But the Buffalo Bills are a 4-3 or a 4-2 nickel defense.
Yeah.
J.J. Watt is a 3-4 defensive end.
I mean,
Trey Hendrickson would be a monster for this team.
I had a video earlier, I think it was episode 2 for me, where I talked about, who should Buffalo target? And Hendrickson was the first person I brought up. But with like the J.J. Watt news, it's like everyone's like, oh, he'll play defensive tackle next to Ed Oliver. And I'm like, are we really going to be paying him for that when K'Wan Short's on the market?
Or a guy like Justin Houston, just a pure pass rush guy. He can line up at 4-3 end too. I love the secondary of the Buffalo Bills. You and I rave about it.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, Norman, Wallace.
Teron Johnson, that boy, though.
But, I mean, Johnson's a dog. It starts and ends with the defensive line.
Yeah.
You can't ask any secondary to play coverage for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, there were games where they didn't even touch the quarterback. Phillip Rivers didn't get hit. It was unbelievable.
The whole game, I was losing my mind about it. He's just sitting there with his goofy little stance, slinging from his hip. I couldn't believe it. But yeah.
And if they actually had a good quarterback, he hits Michael Pittman in the end zone, we lose that game.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's simple as this: Trent Murphy gone, Quentin Jefferson maybe.
What's it? Do you know what his contract is, QJ?
He signed a 2-year. I believe he signed a 2-year, but I just don't like him, man. There's just
I don't either. Especially when like Butler was playing decently well towards the end of the season in the playoffs, I think at least in the run game. And we're getting Star Latulele back.
So QJ was on a 2-year, 13.5. That's a good point about Star though, because I loved when they had the OG not when we were kids and they had the big 4, Mario, Kyle, Marcel, and Jerry. That defensive line was sensational.
It led the team. We were good because of the D-line almost.
And what happened to that, man? I mean, you got guys doing like literally Mario Addison does nothing for most of the game. Nothing. And at least Jerry Hughes plays with effort, but he's not the same.
He's nowhere where he was 4 years ago.
No. I don't know if they need someone in the interior or at end, but they got to hit the quarterback. Otherwise, it's the same result as what we just witnessed.
Yeah, you look at the 4 down, right? You got Oliver at D tackle 1 or 2, depending on what happens. I think he's a lock, at least until that 5th year comes up. We don't know what's going to happen then. But then both end spots, you can go 1 more year with Jerry Hughes. If we're talking, Super Bowl contending D-line. You have 2 spots you got to fill, free agency draft, in my opinion.
I agree, and that's the issue with the Milano contract. Is Milano a need, a want, or a luxury? And in my head, he's definitely not a need.
Mm-mm.
And I don't even know if he's a want, man. He's a phenomenal player, but if you can't hit the quarterback, he's irrelevant.
Yeah. You have a pass coverage linebacker who has to guard a good tight end for 8 seconds. It's not going to happen.
No one can guard Travis Kelce for 8 seconds. No one can guard him for 2, but that's irrelevant.
Yeah. But Judge Mathis on the Buffalo Fanatics was talking about this. He said, you go into free agency, you give Milano a 1-year 8 or a 3-year 28 where it goes 8, 10, 10 and be like, look, because of the COVID cap, which is a good excuse to underpay guys this year. It's like GMs finally have a reason to be like, okay, we're not going to pay this guy as much. But you give him that tryout contract essentially and address it later, or you try to lock him up big time and see if he can buy into the team. But there's no possible way we even can or should give him the $14 million that Sports Tracker's given him.
I agree. It's actually really interesting this offseason. There's going to be so many veterans who are either going to get cut or just so many guys on cheap deals.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think J.J. Watt is not going to get the bag.
No, he's going to get a 1-year 10, 11 probably.
And that's what he should.
Yeah.
there's so many, but in my head, these like a Watt, I don't think it's the example. But we talked about Trey Hendrickson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was a monster. He was the best defensive player on the Saints last year.
He led the NFL in sacks for like 5 weeks.
He's phenomenal, and the fact that Cam Jordan was in the Pro Bowl and he wasn't is absolutely absurd.
Who cares?
He's not going to get the bag either. No one has money. No team has money except for like the Jets.
And,
irrelevant, as we know. Can't even touch 17 in the Bills.
That's right. No matter if they can put all their focus into the D line, which they have, and they still will not touch Big 17.
How about Leonard Williams leaving the Jets and becoming a monster all of a sudden?
Yeah, he's awesome.
Does that speak on anything to do with their team? That's what I thought, Jets fans.
Jets fans, just take a seat over there. Your time is soon. Hopefully they don't get Watson. I don't think it'll happen.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
We should make shirts. Watson out of the AFC East.
No, that is a real issue if that happens.
Yeah.
Then there's no more jokes. Because then you can argue that Allen isn't the best quarterback in the division. And when you don't have the surefire number one quarterback in the division, every single season is a dogfight.
Yeah, and it's up in you could finish first, you could finish third.
Right. Like, I would be thrilled to go up against Fields, Tua, and Marcus Mariota or Mac Jones.
Whoever they go.
No problem.
I mean, 5 years from now it might be, but right now I'm sitting pretty.
Right, and we all know this, that the window for the Bills is the next 2 or 3, 4 years.
Definitely.
And it starts with winning your divisional games and winning the playoffs. And to do that, they got to get the quarterback, man.
Yeah. So what I want to do now is I want to head into Draft Network's. They got a little mock draft situation going. Now, it's going to be a little funky, like, get into, like, the true, like, realism of it, because the sim is going to take, picks, like, 1 through 29, essentially. But I'm just going to go ahead and start it here. We're going to be sitting at pick 30. I've seen crazy things happen. I've watched a couple people do videos over on this website. But now, what's the first round need?
It once again comes down to, all right, should we say that they're not re-signing Matt Milano for this?
Hypothetically, Milano walks. I think that just makes, like, in terms of realism, I think that's the most likely thing to happen. But do we keep John Brown?
I don't think so, but I see JOK right there. If he's there,
Okay, realistically, we would trade up if he fell that far, right? Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't like Collins that much.
I don't either. Jalen Phillips is a big question mark too, because I like guys further down the board more.
Man. All right, you want us to keep scrolling a little? Oh my, Mac Jones is still there?
Let's take Mac Jones and then trade him. Javonte Williams.
I like him, dude. No, you can't though. You can't.
Okay, I saw this on Twitter. Someone was talking about Ojulari here. What do you think about Ojulari? Big. I think he's 6'5", 270.
I like him for the size, and I like him because I could see him and Oliver on a third down, both moving in. I mean, Oliver would be inside regardless. He's a guy that you can play inside, outside, over the tight end, outside of the tight end. I would not be opposed to that pick. Now, I mean, you look at who just got picked at 27, 28, and 29.
That's a stinger, man.
Any of those guys I would pick at 30.
Yeah.
Because I'm the believer, especially interior. I'm not a Cody Ford believer. And I am the one member not on the Ike Butker fan train.
Dude, Butker all the way, man.
I have no idea why you like him so much.
He's a placeholder. But, okay, so at pick 30, we're thinking edge here, or you want to look at corner maybe?
Yeah, I mean, you got to see who's available at corner, but.
Check it out. I like Aaron Robinson if he's there. He is. And Eric Stokes.
Okay, I think you have to go Stokes at 30.
I agree. That's the make or break pick. Yeah. So the pick is in.
You think he's there at 30?
Absolutely not.
No.
He'll go early 20s probably, but I mean, if he falls, he falls. And corner 2, scratch it off.
Who do you prefer, Samuel or Stokes?
Ooh, that's a good one. I like Asante Samuel's outside game more, but Stokes just reminds me of a guy, like, especially with our team right now, come in and play nickel if you need to, go over top and play safety if you want to bring Poyer down for a play. Brings a lot of, I think, more creativity to Frazier's offense or defense, but yeah.
And I really want to see Siren Neal have a more impact on the field next year.
Or
I'm always
more,
a
though.
big fan of his. All right, let's see this dude. Who
Try to
do we
get
got?
the ball.
62?
Yeah, we're here at 62. Richie Grant's there. Javon Holland's still available. Baron Browning. Oh, I see the pick. I see the pick already. And if I'm gonna let you take this one, if you don't make it, then I don't know.
No, yeah, okay. All right. With the 62nd pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Chaz Surratt, linebacker,
right.
North Carolina.
I
That's
love
your favorite conference. You guys, for those who don't know, I actually love watching American football and UCF. But he's a stud.
Yeah.
He's a stud.
Crazy athlete.
He's a more athletic version of Matt Milano.
That's yeah. And when he was at UNC, it's like beginning of the year they were like playing him in the box like crazy, and then they let him spread sideline to sideline, and it was.
Hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off. Did I just see that Jabril Cox just got picked?
Did he really? That might be who we take in round 1. Yeah, Pittsburgh got him at 87. I like Stokes more, maybe. I don't know. But yeah,
Tylan Wallace. I actually had the pleasure of doing a lot with Tylan Wallace at the Senior Bowl. He's a true
awesome.
professional. He's a monster.
Yeah.
In my eyes, I have a first round grade on him.
No, I definitely
that's hot
agree.
take.
Him and Rashad Bateman for me are like, which one's better? What do you think?
I prefer Tylan Wallace. I was actually arguing this with Daniel Almeida to
Yeah.
TWSN the other day. Tylan Wallace is one of the smoothest route runners I've ever seen in college football.
Mm-hmm.
Bateman's good, but how much better was Bateman than Tyler Johnson in Minnesota?
Not.
And Tyler Johnson was the one guy who played poorly in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the one guy on Tampa's roster who didn't have a good day. But yeah.
All right, so I have my pick here. But you go ahead. It's your turn.
Now, is it too crazy to go interior defensive line? Because I love Aleem McNeil. I don't know if you were going to go with Osa Adighiziwa, but Aleem McNeil's my guy. So at pick 93, the Buffalo Bills, barring any interjections, will be taking Aleem McNeil at pick 93. Boom. Now let me know who you wanted, because I don't think that was your guy there.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I actually had the privilege of seeing Clemson play Syracuse at Syracuse. Shout out the Orange. I think Amari Rodgers is a monster, dude.
Oh, okay. I like Amari Rodgers.
And especially if we're talking about John Brown, and I know Mafia, we don't need another wideout. But, dude, he's a monster.
Oh, I got a guy for you. I think I was talking to you about this. Josh Imatorbhebhe, 5th round. And this is actually the gap. So between picks 93 and 147? Where you pick after, I think.
Trey Sermon on the board still. And my Canadian guy, Chubb
and
Hubbard.
But are you a part of the trade back and get more picks persona Bills Mafia?
Yeah, I'd have no problem with that as long as they address whatever we don't do in free agency. You know, I'd actually be interested in seeing if we did another one of this in the scenario that Milano is still on the team. Are we taking a complete different outlook of our draft?
I mean, probably, because it's pretty it's linebacker in the first round. It's like that's what needs to be drafted. And if he's still on the team, then you look at edge, and then that throws everything off. Do you go tackle in the second round? You go running back early, maybe? It's interesting. But now here we are at 162.
Can you go to my picks for a second? My memory's not the sharpest these days.
Oh, yeah. My bad. I thought I had that pulled up. So we got Stokes, Surratt, and McNeil. All defense to start. Interesting. You want to take a look at running backs, maybe?
No, I'm okay for running backs, actually. I know that's a hot take. I actually have so many guys I love way later in the draft. Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, you already know.
So for those who don't know, I am an adopted Indiana football fan. I had the privilege of watching every single game this year with the best quarterback in the Big Ten this year. His name was Michael Penix Jr. And he was throwing the ball to Mr. Wop Filer and Fryermouth. Underrated receiver duo. So with the 162nd pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, The Buffalo Bills select Walt Filer, Indiana wide receiver.
Nice. I love it. No,
You do?
This brings me to everyone's talking about Roberts or McKenzie. Who are you re-signing? If you want to keep Roberts, that's where Philly runs into. He can be your backup, kick return, punt returner. And those little jet sweep touch pass things, he would excel in that role.
It's gonna be put pressure on Isaiah Hodgins to bounce back. We don't have time to wait on him. There's going to be one spot between a rookie wide receiver, whether it's undrafted or drafted, and Isaiah Hodgins, and maybe a Kenny Stills.
If
Don't
he's
sleep on Kenny Stills
for us, maybe.
Yeah.
So
that's
now we're sitting here at 175. There's a lot of edges still available. Now, I haven't looked into Jonathan Cooper very much. So if you know anything about him, what do you think?
He's an Ohio State edge rusher.
So
you
he's
know
an
what
athlete.
you're going to get. But, dude, that Cincinnati defense was something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a need. And unless if you know, do me a favor, go if you look at offensive line, especially we already looked at one. If you look at tackles right now, is there anyone on the board?
Oh, Volson. I like Volson. I think Van Lannen's a complete bust. I don't know about you if you've looked into him. But the Bills are apparently interested in him. Alaric Jackson has fallen this low. That's crazy. But what about interior?
Well, we already got McNeil.
Oh, McNeil plays on the other side of the ball. He's
my God! My apologies.
No, you're all good. Yeah, he's a freak of nature.
He is. He is. I still would rather pick a tackle there.
I agree, because you have flexibility with other guys to move into guard.
And it comes down to this Cody Ford debacle of is he a guard or is he a tackle?
Or is he going to play?
Well, that's the actual issue.
Yeah. So you got your pick at 175? Or do you want
I think this is your pick. I got my guy.
Oh, is it mine? You're right.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Let me look at edge again. Not liking Ellerson Smith is pretty elite. 6'6", 260. What do you think about that?
Dude, he's a big body, and Northern Iowa, they are a very tough physical team. There's something about picking like a Jonathan Cooper. I just don't see it. If you're on Ohio State and you play edge, and if you don't pop off the screen,
it's burnout.
It's a burnout. I would pick him too, especially with no edge. And look, especially if there's no Trey Hendrickson or anything coming, you need an edge rusher in this draft.
I think if Trey Hendrickson doesn't get drafted or signed, it's Azeez Ojulari in round one. It has to be, yeah. But at pick 175, I'm pretty confident with this one. You convinced me. I'm going to go ahead and take Ellerson Smith, edge out of Northern Iowa. Boom. Now we got one pick left.
I'm liking this squad here.
Yeah, I like it.
I really like it.
A lot of versatility. You want to look at running back for the late round? Oh my! Yeah, if he's there, we have to take him.
No way. He doesn't. No way. Oh.
It was meant to be, but then it wasn't.
Well, I actually have one more of my guy here who's just sitting there.
I want you to talk running backs, Steve, because I haven't looked into this far deep into the board. I only know C.J. Verdell on this lesson.
If Mr. Rakeem Boyd is there, that's a hammer. And
talk to me about
it early. Oh, Verdell's good too, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and so is Mitchell.
Here we are.
All right.
Dude.
This is a hot take. And don't even bring up those who, oh my God, he's only picking this because of Last Chance U. Watch Arkansas football. Rakeem Boyd, there's been off the field issues. There's been commitment issues. There's been even some fumbling issues. But oh my God, he is a freak. And he is truly a day one or day two talent. So with a 215th pick in the 6th round, the Buffalo Bills select Rakeem Boyd, Arkansas. I'm telling you, he's going to be one of those guys where he won't be in the NFL for 12 years, but he's one of those, he's going to have 3 seasons of monster numbers. I'm telling you right now.
Mark it, write it down. Wait, we have another pick.
He's different, dude. Yeah, they have one more in the 7th. This is their last one.
I totally forgot. So you looking special teams here? We looking at what are we looking at?
Tight end, maybe?
Ooh, Lamont Wade's there. Oh, yeah, tight end would be a good spot. Give me Matt Bushman. There he is. Ooh. I like Bushman.
Good pass
And
catcher,
blocking threat.
big body.
Big body.
Gotta get somebody else in there. Free Tommy Sweeney, man.
Yeah, free Tommy. Let him get an opportunity somewhere. I feel you. So at pick 230, I feel pretty confident about this one. It's a position of need. He's kind of like a Dawson Knox hybrid. Matt Bushman, tight end at BYU. What was that? What was that look there?
You mentioned Dawson Knox. Bills Mafia, comment below what you think of Dawson Knox because it is always a good conversation.
I'm expecting
Dawson Knox,
bad things.
He'll make the one-hand incredible catch, and then he'll drop a 5-yard curl.
And then miss a blocking assignment and -4 yards for Singletary, right?
So do they wait to the 215th pick to pick a running back?
Well, I mean, you're looking at the board, right? Verdell was there. Jared Patterson almost fell there. We got Boyd. Let's go to our user picks and look at what we got so far. It's like you could go running back earlier, but like interior D line, McNeil, I think that's a need. That's an awesome weapon to have, more so than a running back at that spot. Ellerson Smith, a need, probably. Spent a couple years being a backup, then maybe you could throw him into the starters and you don't want to pay someone. Look in the 6th round, there were tons of guys there. Guys that could, fill in right behind. And we still have Singletary on contract next year, too.
Do you remember when they drafted Washington from Ohio State a couple years ago?
Yeah.
That's just a similar vibe to me with McNeil.
Okay, I got you.
It just worries me about these 3rd round, not really dominant defensive linemen, but good.
But like,
and he's a good player. And I don't want to compare him to Washington because he did nothing.
Played like 2 games.
I don't know what happened there. Is
he even on a team anymore?
No, he's out of the NFL. Was that a Doug Whaley pick?
Yeah, that was Whaley.
Oh, well, that explains it.
I think that was the draft class before Bean and McDermott got there.
Oh, that's right, because Bean was hired in June.
Right, yeah. What NFL franchise hires a new GM right after the draft also?
Yeah, that was something. I mean, you and I, look at this list. You and I could have done it.
I mean, this is a hell of a draft. This would be A- probably. Missing out on an edge early, people probably wouldn't like, but I love it. And Surratt's my favorite pick out of all these guys.
Are you comfortable with someone else other than Andre Roberts returning punts?
Absolutely.
Then you let him go, you re-sign McKenzie, and you bring in a rookie like Fire or Hyde or McKenzie, and they compete for the punt returner job.
Yeah.
Andre Roberts is great, but how much better is he than what we got? That's a roster spot. Isaiah Hodgins. Andre Roberts is not a good NFL wide receiver at all.
We know that. That's been known for years and years and years. But I mean, kick returner, it's either, he's going to take it out of the end zone 8 yards back and get like 12 yards, or he's going to bust it for 38 every time.
I love this draft, though, dude. Yeah. I think that the only thing you can say is if they re-sign Milano, it's completely different.
Totally. And if they get Trey Hendrickson, it's also totally different.
You're 100%. I actually woke up and we were talking about this early morning and prepping for the show. I think Matt Milano's a Buffalo Bill.
I think he wants to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where the 1-year, $8 million contract really makes sense.
You don't think they'd have to pay more than 8? You don't think it'd be something closer to 12?
I mean, if he really is like, I want to be a Bill, I'm bought into the system, I want a ring, I want to stay here, I got, love my house, my family's here, all that. That's where the shrinkage comes in. Because 14 to 12, that's, we got to cut $2 million just to be able to sign someone else. But 14 to 8, that's like, you're bought in, we're going to go sign an awesome D-end to make you look better on the field so you can get money next year. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's going to be tough, dude. This offseason is going to be so interesting, man.
I'm really excited because I can't remember the last time I was hyped up for like a Bills offseason where I was like, okay, we can really like break some mountains here, get over the hump. This year seems like.
And you and I were watching together. It was the second week when they played the Dolphins that we looked at each other. We're like, this is new.
Yeah, maybe
we're like Allen had like 260 at half.
Yeah. Oh wait, you're talking week 2 against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good. I think that this team is completely different than what we're used to.
Yeah.
And this is the first draft where this isn't build the sundae. This is find the cherry on top.
Mm-hmm.
And is that Eric Stokes or Surratt? Maybe.
Failure.
Maybe. Or is it trade up or trade down? I don't know. I hope Brandon Bean knows.
If JOK goes past 24, you have to call.
Past 20, you have to call.
Past 20 even.
He's different, dude. That
He's
dude
a little bit like Devin White.
100%. I think he's more physical, dude.
Even more of a
when he's downhill, lights out.
Notre Dame. I don't know about you if you watch any Notre Dame games. They're so boring the way they play. I would just watch JOK every single time.
Oh, well, don't get me started on Ian Book, the one of the most overrated players in any sport of anything ever.
Is he the most overrated college football player right now?
I mean, you and I both attend Arizona State University, so there is some bias in that. You can argue Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels. Good Lord.
But other than that, I mean, it's close.
Yeah. Hey, how about Arizona State sports this year? It's been awesome, right?
Man, I actually have a confession to admit.
Okay.
They played the one game, right? Like the one game that mattered against USC.
Mm-hmm.
He just looked flat. They just were not good.
At least Remy Martin finally had a good game.
Yeah, he's playing. He's starting to play well. What country is he playing overseas in, though?
Bogoslavia, probably.
Because he is not. Dude, they just look so discombobulated every time on the court.
Is Hurley gone?
I think so, dude. I think that there's no way you can run a team like this. How do you have so much talent and do nothing? Marcus Bagley is a stud. Yeah. Not to mention Josh Christopher, what? 6th best recruit in the country?
Yeah, 7th, I think, but close enough.
I don't know what to tell you.
But yeah, I want to recap and go over. We talked about free agency. We have Hendrickson, seems like the big fish, right? There's some K1 Short is pretty much guaranteed to be a Bill at this point with the Buffalo Panthers. And then in the draft, we went Stokes, we went corner early. Levi Wallace probably gone with that. Then we took Milano's backup with Surratt. Aleem McNeil, it's kind of a reach pick, I think, in my opinion. But beef up the interior, get some boys in the trenches. Wap Fillier, your boy, bringing a little speed. And then we hit Ellerson Smith in the 5th. Rakeem Boyd running back at Arkansas, and finished up with Matt Bushman for some tight end depth. Free Tommy Sweeney. But Pike, I want to get your record prediction for next year. Following the free agency, following the draft, looking at the roster. Milano's gone. What's your prediction on the record next year? Easier schedule too, by the way.
I'll go 12-4.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I think that it's going to be an interesting season where it's one of those Cleveland Cavaliers, Golden State Warriors type from a couple years ago, where they're going to play through the season, but it's always going to be about the playoffs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no. We've reached that level.
This team will dominate against the Jets type or the Patriots types, the teams that type. It's going to be absurd offensively what they're going to do next year.
Yeah, but the reason I think we're saying 12-4 too, because why wouldn't we just go 13-3 again? You look at the flow of teams in the past, their first breakout year, the next year's kind of a slump a little bit. And I'm expecting that a little bit. I'm expecting Allen's numbers to go down too. I think teams are just going to start, completely game planning towards him and Diggs. But still 12-4, we're going to win the AFC East. And maybe we'll be in Buffalo for playoff time, Pike.
I'll throw this at you.
Yeah.
I've been a big believer of this player. I'll give you 2 names. I think Gabe Davis is about to explode.
I do too. Like 10 plus touchdowns.
I'll go 10, and I think 1,000 yards. Really.
2,000 yard receivers then?
I really think that Gabe Davis, and that's assuming John Brown is gone.
I think that's
a lock.
Yeah, it's a lock.
We go back to Baltimore. I think Beasley's numbers will dip. I think Diggs' numbers will dip. And Davis, you saw in the last 4 or 5 games of the season, Gabe Davis just casually puts up monster numbers.
And casually makes game-altering plays too.
And there's a couple plays, he had a couple drops, things are different. But I want to point out one more thing, and then I'll let you go back to it. Shaq Barrett is a free agent.
That's a lot of moolah, man.
The bag, yes or no? I'm willing. I think he is an absolute monster. I would do it.
Very interesting, honestly. Shaq Barrett. What would he want? He would want 18.
Yeah, I mean, I got here in my notes 17, 18, 19.
Yeah.
The prediction and my free agency predictions of a 4-year 70 to the Bucks. And he re-signs.
That's
lots
crazy.
of guarantees.
I mean, might as well try it. Throw an offer out, maybe. I don't think he wants to leave Tampa Bay either. They trusted in him. You know, they brought him in when he didn't have an early part of his. Where did he start again? Denver, right. You know, they trusted in him, gave him the keys to the defense, and, you know, got a Super Bowl ring out of it. So
the Denver Broncos passed on Josh Allen to pick Bradley Chubb to replace Shaq Barrett. And look how that's working out for them. Instead of having Allen, Miller, and Barrett, they now have Drew Lock, the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. Bradley Chubb, who is the definition of, he's good. And Von Miller, who won't be on the team in 2 months.
He's the guy that everyone says, if Bradley Chubb played in Arizona, if Bradley Chubb played in Minnesota, all these different teams for scheme fits. It's like he's not producing. He's a freak of nature athlete. There's nothing there.
Clowney, stop saying Jadeveon Clowney's the monster. He's not.
Mm-mm.
It's the same thing in my eyes. The two of them, very similar players.
Yeah, but there's a lot of Bills fans on Twitter that want Clowney on a tryout year. Not no, but hell no.
A 1-3 is the max. Seriously.
Yeah, give him the vet min.
Seriously. I can't, should we list 100 players I'd rather sign?
I'll sign Jordan Mills back to start at tackle over Jadeveon Clowney.
Oh.
Cordy Glenn.
Cordy Glenn was a good tackle, dude.
Yeah, he was.
Jordan Mills. Is that the worst? Was he the worst starter in the drought era? He was close. Non-quarterback,
that tackle out of Alabama. He had a brother in the NFL too. He had a crazy last name.
Cyrus Quanjo.
Yes. Quanjo was terrible.
You know who was good? Chantrell Henderson. I always thought he was going to be a Bill for a long time.
He had guard flexibility too, right?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I remember after his rookie year, people thought this guy was seriously a top 10 tackle.
I mean, I can't think back that long ago. I don't know.
That's that Bills Mafia history right there.
Right.
The drought era, one of the worst eras in sports.
What'd you say?
One of the worst eras in sports. The drought era.
Yeah. But with the drought, I mean, this is a pretty sick offseason, sick draft we just went over. I'm going to let you go. And thank you for coming on. I'm going to put your link to your channel and your Twitter in my bio. So once again, thank you, Daniel Pike, Bills Mafia for life, for joining.
I appreciate you having me on. It was such a great time. If you need any Bills Mafia content or any sports content, this is the best YouTube page to go to. I mean, look at this draft. Find one half as good as this one. And remember, if Shaq Barrett's the Buffalo Bills, make sure to hit me up.
This guy said it first.
Take care, y'all. Go Bills. Bills Mafia. 17 for MVP.
That's right, man.
Peace out.
Peace, Pike. Alrighty, y'all. So I'm going to stop the share real quick and get back. I just wanted to go over something real quick. It's been a while since I've uploaded a video. As you can tell, the background and my setting is completely different. I have officially moved back to Arizona State, back in Phoenix, Arizona. I was in Austin for a little bit. I was recording all my videos in Austin. But now we're back. We're going to get back to the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday grind, if you will. And I can't wait to get back into doing all this content for you guys. But I'm going to leave you with that. Hopefully you liked and enjoyed what me and Pike went over with the Bills offseason and their draft. If you have any, comments on anything you disagree with or anything you really thought that could be a possibility and it needs to happen, let me know in the comments. And once again, thank you for tuning in. This is Wrigley Willis with the Semi-Average Podcast. I will see you guys later. Peace.